famous American poet Maya Angelou quoted memorably, "People will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." That is why it is impossible to forget our dear Manjunath, because he always made us feel good about ourselves. He always made us feel his compassion for us. He always made us feel the intensity of his service to us Goans. He always made us feel his powerful sense of duty to all. This then is the story of our beloved Manjunath, a piece of our lives that will never perish from our consciousness, and indeed our conscience. On the 5th of February 1977, the sun illuminated the world with a ray of hope. Growing up in the sleepy, happy village of Bori and studying his primary levels in Vivekanand Vidyalaya, he grew up with the mountains and the valleys, the fields and the streams, the laughter and the joy of his Siddhanath Parvat. His life seamlessly blending with the academic, the sporting, and the spiritual.
The magical Manjunath.
Once you met Dr. Manjunath, you became his fan.
He had the rare decision-making ability to intervene at the right time, in the right way.
He was like a sunshine to all the patients.
He was always available when needed.
खूप हुशार, नम्र, स्मित हास्य आशिल्लो तोंडार.
He took care of patients, that's what he loved, and he loved cardiology.
Epitome of being such a wonderful, wonderful human being.
जून 1986 सालांत हे विद्याप्रसारक मंडळ स्थापन जालें. जूनांतल्यान हें विवेकानंद विद्यालय स्कूल सुरू जालें. हें जेन्ना इस्कॉल सुरू जालें तेन्ना 30 भुरगीं आयलीं. हळू हळू ह्या भुरग्यां कडेन वळख जाली आनी कळ्ळें की ह्या स्कुलांत एक खूब हुशार भुरगो ह्या 30 भुरग्यां मदीं. बाकीचीं आशिल्लीं बरीं, पूण तातूंत मदीं एक अफलातून आनी एक सामको हाय पोटेन्शियल आशिल्लो असो भुरगो ह्या क्लासांत आसा, आनी तो म्हणजे मंजुनाथ प्रेमानंद देसाई.
मंजुनाथ हा नवोदयची निर्मिती होता याचा आम्हाला सार्थ अभिमान आहे. आणि आधुनिक काळामध्ये डॉक्टर कसा असायला हवा याचं उत्तम उदाहरण म्हणजे मंजुनाथ.
मंजुनाथ माझा नातेवाईक आणि माझा शेजारी. खूप लहानपणापासून ताका हांव वळखता. ताजी फॅमिली जो बॅकग्राऊंड आशिल्लो तो एग्रीकल्चरिस्ट फॅमिली, खूप गरीब फॅमिली. कुलदेवता ताजी नवदुर्गा, त्यामुळे नवदुर्गे ताजी भरपूर श्रद्धा, तशीच कुलपुरुष ताचो सिद्धपुरुष हाचेर ताजी खूप श्रद्धा. आणि एक तातूंतल्यानच त्या श्रद्धेंतल्यानच लोकांक मदत करप वगैरे जो कल ताचो आशिल्लो, तो ताची ती देवावयली श्रद्धा हातूंतल्यान तो आयिल्लो असो येता.
लहान होता तेव्हा, तो जायला तयार नव्हता नवोदयमध्ये. तेव्हा माझ्या सासऱ्याने, म्हणजे आम्ही आप्पा म्हणायचो, त्यांनी त्याला तेव्हा एक पत्र लिहिलं की आम्ही लहान असताना आम्ही किती कष्ट काढले, आम्हाला शिकायला मिळत नव्हतं, आता तुला हा जो चान्स मिळालाय तू जा. आणि काय अचानक त्याचा बदल घडला माहित नाही, तो गेला तिकडे.
He then moved to Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, a residential school that is so formidable that, unknown to many of us elites in our cities, has groomed some of the finest scientific and literary minds of Goa that are dispersed all over the globe. Manjunath was indisputably one of their shining diamonds they bequeathed upon the community.
Over the period of time, जशें आमी MBBS क्लियर केलें, तो मेडिसिनान गेलो, हांव एनेस्थेशियान आयलो, आनी मागीर तो भायर गेलो. जेन्ना तो भायल्यान आयलो तेन्ना मंजुनाथ वॉज अ टोटली डिफरंट मॅन हू वॉज व्हेरी डेडिकेटेड. लोकांक सर करपाची जी ताजी वृत्ती आशिल्ली ती एकदम उफाळून भायर आयिल्ली. केन्ना केन्ना हांव ताका MBBS टायमाचेर म्हणटालो की मंजुनाथ तुवें गोंयचो हेल्थ मिनिस्टर जावपा जाय. because we needed somebody who was like a leader, who was dedicated, and who was caring for his patients.
But what I liked about him was his way of dealing with the patient, comforting them all the time. Are you comfortable? He kept on asking while the procedure of angioplasty was going on. And then he said, well, don't worry, 50% of the job is done, only this one is left. Because of him, that I felt absolutely comfortable, no tension whatsoever.
Whenever I used to come to GMC, I used to feel that I had that fear like of losing my son. Dr. Manjunath was an angel to us. Until date, my son is breathing only because of him. He has given a new life to my son. My son is having aortic stenosis, and it was a major issue because he was very small. On the third day after his birth, he was operated, and the procedure was successful. Dr. Manjunath's hands were like healing touch to him. I still miss Dr. Manjunath.
I didn't know him in the beginning, but I heard his name, and everybody used to say Dr. Manjunath, Dr. Manjunath, and Dr. Manjunath. I thought he being so famous, he would be an elderly person. But I was shocked to see this young man who gave so much strength, and he was so confident of what he said. He was so sure of his diagnosis. What magic was in him? I think he had a divine grace, and that divine grace attracted everybody to him. Even the poorest of poor used to come back and give me a feedback how well he treated them, how well he gave them confidence, how well he took them out of their crisis. Such a man is very hard to find. On this occasion, I would like to express my respectful tributes.
पूण मंजुनाथ म्हणल्यार म्हाजो विद्यार्थी आशिल्लो तो, आनी मागीर म्हाजो घट इश्ट जालो, म्हाज्या बरोबर काम केलें. But there was something so much more about Manjunath than any colleague or any friend that I had. तो म्हाजो विद्यार्थी जावन हांव ताज्यान कितको शिकलो as to specifically what life is about. So it is not just that Manjunath was brilliant at his work. There are many brilliant cardiologists at work. पूण जे मंजुनाथाचे एक कॅरेक्टरिस्टीक आशिल्लो पळय तो खरेंच म्हणल्यार मनशाक पावतालो, आपल्या काळजांतल्यान पावतालो. So whether it was a friend, whether it was family, whether it was a patient, whoever it was, Manjunath treated them with as much dignity, as much respect, and as much love that any human being could give another human being.
Dr. Manjunath Desai was my student way back. I had my first experience with Manjunath's expertise in January 2015 when I had a heart attack. I was taken to the casualty. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening. It was a Sunday. But within half an hour, Dr. Shirish Borkar, Dr. Guru Prasad Naik, and Dr. Manjunath were there. I remember Manjunath putting his hand on my shoulder and saying, "Sir, don't worry, whatever it is, we will tackle it." It is but rarely that one comes across a person like Manjunath.
As an MBBS student, he was a rather quiet boy. Wouldn't answer questions that were floated around. But when the question was directed to him specifically, he would give a very precise and intelligent answer. There was competition among the senior consultants to have him in their respective units because of his work, and he was equally liked by his patients. Everybody knows his pivotal role in establishing the cardiology unit in Goa Medical College and establishing the cath lab. Goa was not equipped with these services, and people had to be referred to institutions outside Goa for these special services. Now everything was made available in Goa thanks to Manjunath and his team.
I had a great time working with Dr. Manjunath, who was our cardiologist in the cardiology department. After losing him, Goa Medical College has lost one of the best cardiologists in Goa. Plus, he was a very good human being. He had always wished that the average Goan should get the best treatment. That was his aim, and he could live up to that aim.
The amazing thing about him was that he always brought out the best in any of our staff, any of the people he worked with. He would never find out faults. He would always, even if somebody was not up to the mark, he would always find what was good in that person and praise that person for those qualities. He was very well loved by all our staff, to the extent that if their salaries didn't come on time, he would even, give money from his own pocket to them. He loved pediatric cardiology more than anything else. That was his dream, that he would one day improve the pediatric cardiology services in GMC. And to a large extent, he did that. Some of the first device closures we got, closing of holes in the heart in small children.
What struck me when I first met him or when I first talked to him was that he was so passionate about cardiology. He loved cardiology. And he was very eager to come back to Goa and work in Goa. And then as we worked together for the next several years, I saw that he was brilliant. He was very good with his cardiology and his patient care. He loved patients. And whenever he took upon patient's care, he made sure he delivered right to the end. He was very eager to learn new treatments, new procedures, and put them into practice. Everybody remembers him very fondly for all the care and love that he gave all his patients. And in that way, Dr. Manjunath is immortal.
Dr. Manjunath, or Manju as we knew him, was a great doctor and very good human being. And that's why we are remembering him so fondly today. But I think the greatest legacy that one can leave behind is when one remembers you in their day-to-day workings. Even today, when we are working in a cardiology department, there is someone who is saying, or at least thinking, that if Dr. Manjunath had to be here, he would have done it this way. And I think that is the kind of impact that he had in everyone's lives and continues to have even today when he's gone.
एक दीस म्हाका सडनली डॉक्टर मंजुनाथ देसायाचो फोन आयलो. हांव तांकां वळखनाशिल्लो, पूण तांणी आपूण जावन म्हाका फोन केलो, आपल्याक इंट्रोड्यूस केलो आनी तांणी म्हाका सांगलें की तुवें कार्डियक एनेस्थेसियाचें शिक्षण केलां जाल्यार हाजो लाभ गोंयच्या लोकांक जावपाक जाय, थंय तूं बेंगलोराक कित्याक आसा. आनी हें म्हज्या मनान आशिल्लेंच, म्हणून हांवें तांकां आश्वासन दिलो की हांव हांगा थोड्याच वेळा खातीर आसा, पूण हांव फायनली GMCनूच जॉयन जावपाचो आसा. आनी तशेंच जालें. थोड्या म्हयन्यांनी 2019 हांव कार्डियक एनेस्थेसिया डिपार्टमेंट GMCन जॉयन जालो आनी म्हाका हो सौभाग्य मेळ्ळो की मंजुनाथ सरा बरोबर 3 वर्सां हांवें काम केली.
In my regular practice, I come across patients every next day who somehow narrate either their experience or their family with Manjunath. Somehow they landed up to GMC and how Manjunath have either treated them or being this even savior. So that was Manjunath's life. There will be no second Dr. Manjunath Desai, and the void which has been created at present is irrepressible.
I was very fortunate to meet Dr. Manjunath, Manju as we used to call him, during our MBBS admission 1994 July. And since then we developed a very close friendship, very close relationship. To tell you about him, he was very cool, calm personality. I don't remember him getting ever angry. And in short, to tell you all, he was the Rancho of our class, and the real Rancho, a model which he has been for us to try and emulate, so that we make this world a better place to live in.
So I was initially skeptical about joining cardiology. I didn't know what to expect. Then I spoke to Dr. Edwin and he was like, okay, if you are so much skeptical, you go and meet Dr. Manjunath. So I went to the OPD and it was a busy evening OPD.
but still in that busy OPD, sir gave me time, and just a couple of minutes of interaction with Manjunath sir, and I realized that I have to work with this person, and that was the beginning of my journey in cardiology.
The institution runs successfully if even a few individuals connected with that particular institutions are dedicated and committed. They are the ones who carry the whole institution on their shoulders. Dr. Manjunath Desai was one such person who carried the department of cardiology on his own shoulders along with some colleagues of his. There was a teamwork which clicked so well that the institution became a premier institution in the whole of India, and so many people benefited. He is the one who defied all these temptations of commercializing, making money out of this particular profession, and dedicated himself to a cause where the only thing that he could have acquired is the goodwill of people.
हांव शेवटापर्यंत जे डॉक्टर मंजुनाथ देसाई हांच्या संपर्कात आशिल्लो. तांच्यांनी आपलो डायग्नोसीस जाल्या उपरांत म्हणजे तांकां खबर आसतना सुद्दां तांच्यांनी शेवटची सर्जरी परफॉर्म केली. ती हांव जाणा. मुंबयच्यान तांचो डायग्नोसीस जावन येयल्या उपरांत तांकां खबर आशिल्लें की थोड्याच दिसां भितर आपलें दुयेंत चड वाडपाक शकता. बट जेन्ना GMCत एक पेशंटाची सर्जरी करपाची जाली तेन्ना पयलीं तांच्यांनी तांची सर्जरी केली आनी दुसरे दिसा आपूण मुंबय ट्रिटमेंटा खातीर गेले. खरोखरूच तांच्यांनी दिल्लें गोंयांत आनी गोंयकारां खातीर योगदान हे गोंयकार केन्नाच विसरपाक शकचे ना.
One day morning, he was digging my son's cupboard, especially his toys. And I was wondering why he's looking and digging his toys. I just asked him, what happened? He said, do you have any toys for small children? I said, yes, I have. A new one? I said, not very new also, not old, but I have a couple of toys which I have kept aside when Drew was small as a memory. So he said, can you give me a few toys? I said, okay. And I just asked him, why you want these toys? He said, no, I have a pediatric clinic today, and those kids, they come, and when they come, they see me, usually they start crying because they don't want me to examine them. So I just want few toys, and if you have some sweets, you can give me.
Hello everybody, my name is Dhruv Desai and I am son of late Dr. Manjunath Desai. My father was good at sports such as chess, cricket and table tennis. On Saturday evenings, we used to go to the Kambal ground and play cricket. That was the best time I've spent with him. If we were bored of playing cricket, we used to play table tennis. We also played a lot of chess games, and because of him only, I have developed a keen interest in the game of chess. My father, as my mother said, was a voracious reader, and because of him also, I have developed a keen interest in reading, and I love reading. My father is my role model.
Dr. Manjunath Desai was my brother-in-law, my sister's husband. He was like my elder brother, like a father figure to me. He's gone from our side, but never from our heart. He was a man with ethics and principles. He had a solution for every problem. He always believed in simple living and high thinking. What we have done for ourselves alone dies with us, and what we have done for others and the world remains and is immortal. This applies to him. He will be always remembered as he has touched thousands of hearts.
डॉक्टर मंजुनाथ देसाई कडेन म्हजी वळख लास्ट 10 वर्सांची आशिल्ली. ताची मिसीस बाय पूनम आमकां जॉयन जालें एज ह्युमन रिसोर्स कन्सल्टंट. लास्ट 7-8 वर्सां पयलीं जेन्ना स्पेशली कोवीड टायमार म्हाका कितें मेडिकल एडवायस जाय आसली, तांणी रिप्लाय येताली, ओपिनियन येतालें आनी साय सकयल थँक्यू. म्हाका कितें अजाप दिसतालें, आमी ताचे कडेन एडवायस मागता, हांवें ताका 10 फावटी थँक्यू म्हणपा, पूण तो थँक्यू म्हणटा. हेंच हिशोबच कळनासलो दोतोराचो. जेन्ना म्हाका पर्सनली मेळ्ळो मागीर दोतोराक विचारता, तुमी एक थँक्यू कित्याक म्हणटा, हांवें तुका थँक्यू म्हणपाक जाय न्ही. तो फक्त हांसलो. दॅट इज द ग्रेटनेस ऑफ डॉक्टर. दॅट इज द ग्रेटनेस ऑफ this human being. Keda व्हडलो मनीस, केदा व्हडलो human being. God bless him. God bless his family.
As the curtains finally closed on this brilliant, illuminating light that warmed us, that radiated on us and glowed upon us, his family and friends all these years, October 24 remains the day we lost in physical forms one of the most heartwarming, the most genuine and the most pure individuals who has ever crossed our paths.
त्याचा इतका सपोर्ट होता की बापरे.
आता काय बरं गेलं म्हणजे वाईट वाटतं.
वाईट वाटतं, खरंच वाईट वाटतं.
नाव घेतलं की डोळ्यात पाणी येतं.
हो खरंच.
कारण मुलं वाढलेली एवढी एवढी नव्हे.
When he expired, I didn't know how to react because I felt, now who will look after my son? Because he knew the case very well. Deep in my heart, I had that fear. What will happen next?
तर त्यो जो यादी आसा आनी तो जो मंजुनाथ शाळेचो किंवा स्कुलांतलो जो मंजुनाथ आसा तो अजून दोळे मुखार येता आनीक याद काडल्यार मन भरून येता.
एक आरोग्य क्षेत्रातलो असामान्य मनीस म्हणजे सामान्यातसून वयर सरलेलो असामान्य मनीस गेलो हाचो एक धक्को बसलो. एक ह्या क्षेत्रांतलो एक सामको कायम शायन जाणारो तारो हो निखळलो आनी आमकां केन्नाच मेळचो ना. ताचे सहकारी सगळे काटोकाट प्रयत्न करतात. दोतोर मंजुनाथाची कमतरता भासूंक जायना हेची काळजी घेतात. पूण अखेर मंजुनाथ हो मंजुनाथच आसलो. तो देवदूत आसलो अशें म्हटल्यार अतिशयोक्ती जावची ना. देवदूत हो दीर्घ काळा खातीर मेळना. तो येता थोड्या काळा खातीरच आसता, बऱ्यो गजाली दिता आनी मागीर नाच जाता, अदृश्य जाता.
On this day, I pray to God that his family gets the courage to live without him and also his soul rests in peace.
He'll always be remembered in the history of Goa, and we have to commemorate his name for posterity in the medical college.
For me, Manjunath was the pinnacle of a wonderful human being, a great Hindu who believed in truly following his dharma. He gave us so much anand. And Manjunath mara nahi. Manjunath marte nahi.
But Manjunath never really left us, because someone who loved all of us, high or low, rich or poor, academic or common man, with the purity of his heart, can never really die and wither away. Because love is that incorruptible force that Manjunath was for each and every one of us. Go on. Shine on then, dear Manjunath. You will always remain a beacon of light for all of us in our moments of darkness forever.